everyone doing tonight? This is my third attempt at a live stream tonight. I'm having some technical difficulties. So in my first live stream, the sound went out like 5 minutes in, and we couldn't get that back. So I did a bunch of commentary on my video game collection that was for naught. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chill and talk to the camera for a bit to see if anybody comes in. My subscribers, to see if they come in here. And confirm that the audio is in fact working. That's basically what I need to know before I start looking at my video game collection, because I do not want to sit here talking to no one for 2 hours. So, in the meantime, anybody who's in here, if you could just let me know if my mic is working. I'm trying to get this live stream up and running, but I have no idea if my sound is working on your end. So, I'll just show my Genesis collection, and I'll just sit here for a little bit until some of the... It's weird. Usually, I have my regulars that stroll in around this time, but I'm not seeing anybody. Nobody's coming in. Maybe it's because it's video games and more people are interested in movies. I can understand that. But, yeah, I can't do this if no one's in the live stream, because I need to be able to know if I'm being heard. So I'm sorry for people that may be watching this on the archive, but I'm just waiting for people to come into the stream so I can either confirm or deny that sound is happening. But I'm not going to do this for too much longer, because I've already wasted an hour, unfortunately. And I was really looking forward to coming on and talking with everybody, but no one is oddly showing up, so I don't know what's happening. Very strange. But I'll just sit here for a minute. And then maybe I'll edit the archive. I'll edit the all this shit out if people start to come in, and let me know if my sound could be heard. Please, anybody who's in the chat, just let me know if you could hear my voice. And if so, then we're going to get right into the collection overview commentary. Okay. It's really frustrating watching people come into the chat, I ask a question, and then people leave. It's very frustrating. I shouldn't let it bug me, but it is bugging me. All right, well, I guess we're going to have to try this another day, unfortunately. That's a shame. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me now? Can anyone hear me? We are just trying to verify that my mic works before getting into the collection overview. I have tons of games, as you could see. Yes, okay, jolly good. Can you hear me, jolly good? That is the question that I need answered, because I am not going to continue if no one could hear me. So let me know if you could hear me. And if you could, I'm going to count on you to tell me if my sound goes out, because I'm not sure quite what's going on with my phone. But at this rate, I'm not going to be able to do too much today because my battery is almost fully drained. You couldn't hear me before, but you could hear me now. All right. Well, I'm going to continue, and hopefully, well, I'm going to actually restart. I'm going to talk about all the games again, which is not going to be too fun for me, but hopefully it'll be okay for you. And we're just going to jump right in. Feel free to give this a thumbs up if you're enjoying the live stream once we get into it. And jolly good, just let me know if my sound goes out. Did it go out when I changed the camera? All right, so we have Banjo-Kazooie. Let me try to do this like I haven't done this twice already. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. This is a sequel to the Banjo-Kazooie games, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's like a reboot, remake, I'm not exactly sure. I lost faith in Rare when they merged with Microsoft and started producing games like Viva Pinata. This game looks happy-go-lucky and very vibrant. All right, good. You can hear me. Good. Very vibrant-looking game. All right, kitty, please get away from me. He just wants food. Trust me, he doesn't care about me. He wouldn't mind if I suffered and died. He just wants his food. Viva Pinata, yeah, don't have much to say because I've yet to play it. All right, 007 Legends is a 007 game which I've yet to play, but I've heard really good or really bad things about, I should say. It appealed to me because it covers, what, 5 or 6 different Bond movies from 6 different eras. Goldfinger, Moonraker, Die Another Day, Majesty's Secret Service, and License to Kill. So it looks like one from each of the Bonds. And yes, the last Banjo-Kazooie game since '08. I'm having deja vu, Jolly Good. Are you too having deja vu? 007 Legends is a game that I do want to play. I've yet to. Here's another 007 game I hear is better than the movie. The movie is just a little too chaotic, and the editing is kind of that ilk of the late 2000s, like Taken 2 and 3, where there's edits all over the place when the action's happening, and it's very hard to follow things. But I hear the game is a pretty good game for what it is. Yeah, I hope you can hear me, Jolly Good. Here we have Alan Wake. This is a psychological action thriller, as it states there, pretty accurately, by Remedy Studios. Remedy Studios developed and designed Max Payne 1 and 2, and then they would do this little Stephen King-inspired, but also kind of Lovecraftian, deals with darkness and madness and those kinds of things, but also tells a very Stephen King-like story with interesting, quirky characters set in the Northeast. You know, it has that Northeastern kind of atmosphere to it that appeals to me because that's where I grew up. But I recently played through this about a year ago, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it for what it was. You have a flashlight, and you have to aim your flashlight at bad guys, and then it kind of sheds the darkness from them, and then you could shoot them with your little revolver. So it has a kind of unique mechanic that works really well and is always addictive. It's addictive right up until the end of the game. It's still fun to do it. You know, it's still fun to do the combat right at the end of the game. Fun boss battles, really good story if you care to follow it. And here we have Alice Madness Returns. This is a game that I played the original to back in the day on the PC called Alice, and it was sort of like a dark and twisted take on Alice in Wonderland, sort of a macabre take on Alice in Wonderland story, even way before the Tim Burton movies. And this, I think, yeah, it has the original game with it, probably on a digital code that doesn't work anymore. But hey, if it works, that'll be a nice little bonus. But a game I've always wanted to play based on, you know, the original game, which was just called Alice, and it was a novelty at the time, but it was cool. Aliens vs. Predator. This is a game put out by Sega that kind of mirrors the Atari Jaguar version of Alien vs. Predator in terms of the characters you could play as, and each have sort of a different campaign and a different feel to the controls. You could play as the Predator, Alien, or the Marine. And this is a game I've yet to play. I think this got a PC port, but never played it on the 360 there. Oh, no, it's all good. Oh, it's all good, Jolly Good. You could hear me, right, Jolly Good? Just, if you don't mind, just letting me know every once in a while. Just let me know if my sound goes out, because I don't want to be talking for nothing. Here we have Bionic Commando, a game that... Mr. Bob, there we go. We're getting some people come in. Thanks, Mr. Bob, for stopping on by. PlayStation does rock, but I love all consoles. So, here we have Bionic Commando, a game by Capcom. This is a reboot of one of their OG franchises from back in the NES Famicom days. Bionic Commando was an action platformer for the NES where you used a bionic arm to kind of swing to platforms, which gave it a unique platforming mechanic that still holds up today. And this one looks to do pretty much the same kind of thing. You know, it looks like it has some high-flying platforming there, and the scale looks pretty cool. Kind of looks like Spider-Man, doesn't it, kind of? And, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I do enjoy the original Bionic Commando. Do I remember the Super Nintendo, Mr. Bob? I do remember the Super Nintendo. Quick story. So... when I was probably 3 or 4, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing, but I was having trouble pooping on the toilet. And I remember all of this very well when I was a very young boy. And my mom promised me that when I finally did so, I would be able to get a Super Nintendo. And so I did it one holy night. And I remember screaming at my mom, "Mom, I did it! I pooped!" And she was like, "Hey," or whatever. It was so weird to celebrate. But we went right over to our local Caldor, or no, it was Woolworths at the time, and we went to the basement floor, and I remember looking at the Super Nintendo there with Super Mario World, and my mom bought it for me. And that was one of my most special memories as a child, and we went home and we played Super Mario World for hours, and it was great, and I was very young, but I remember it very, very well. So that's the story of my Super Nintendo. So did I take laxatives? Yeah. I guess I probably should have, but I was young, and some kids do that kind of stuff a little later. I guess I was one of the ones who does it a little later, but no problem. Don't worry, I have no problem these days on the toilet. So there you go. Yeah, no, I hear you. But that was a very special memory to me, I suppose, and that's why I remember it, because I got the Super Nintendo. It was a big deal. Here's a Kinect game that you could also play with a controller, which is why I have it here. This is a sequel or a spiritual successor to a game called Rez, which was on the Dreamcast and on the PS2. And this is a, psychedelic on-rails shooter with these beautiful, trippy, dreamlike graphics. And you can control it with your body or whatever, but fuck that. I just want a controller. Here's a Condemned. This is a great game I finally played through as an adult a few months ago, actually. And by Monolith, they're still making games. I'm not exactly sure which ones, but I recognize the developer name. This is a really cool, mostly survival horror game where you pick up weapons and it's melee-based. You sometimes do get guns, but it's mostly weapons-based and you kind of smash the shit out of people. It relies on atmosphere, but it also will get you with the jump scares because these guys hop out of the shadows and they make all sorts of insane noises. But you're on the hunt for a serial killer, and you actually have some bits of this game where it's kind of like a point-and-click adventure where you do some investigating, which is very cool, kind of like Batman Arkham City. And Crackdown 1 and 2 are open-world games my brother Thomas played back in the day on the 360 because he was more of a Microsoft kid as opposed to me. And I was always, after my 360, 3 of my 360s died in like 1 year. I basically stopped playing 360 and focused on PS3. But, going back now, I finally have a 360 with an HDMI, so I'm really happy to be able to dive into some of these games. These are open world, superhero-like games that look super fun, cel-shaded graphics, look way over the top, look like they don't take themselves too seriously. Here we have Darkness 1 and 2. These are games that, well, to be frank, I haven't played the second one, but the first one was very memorable to me. I played through this back in the day, and Jackie is the main character here, Jackie Escalando or something. He's part of the Italian mob. He gets betrayed, and the darkness brings him back to life, and the darkness is this Lovecraftian-like tendrilless creature that basically takes you over symbiotically. It's almost like a Venom type of thing. And he uses these monsters to sneak around, to, see the lay of the land, to take gangsters out. But he also has pistols, akimbo pistols that he does that with. This is based on a graphic novel or comic from about the time it came out. So I think it's pretty cool. And I loved it back in the day. This actually gives you a choice at the end of the game. A big choice that changes the ending. And I remember when that happened, I was like so stressed out. I was like, I don't know what to do. That was at a more simple time, Jolly Good says, oh, by the way, I couldn't get into Viva Pinata because I don't know how to do gardening. Yeah. Is that what the game is? A gardening game? Of which console do I have the most games? Oh, that's easy. That's my NES stuff over there. NES is the only console that I really want everything for, as you can see over here. And I started on that mission when I was about 12 years old in 99. I consciously said, any of the allowance money I get from my grandma or whatever would go into Funkoland and buying NES games. So I used to buy bags of NES games back in 99, 2000 for 40 cents a piece, 50 cents a piece. And I would go in with a $20 bill and leave with like 40, 50 games. It was an insane time to be a collector, but that was when I consciously became a collector. Up until that point, I was just following my dad. He was the collector and the gamer, and I was emulating him. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get every single NES game that ever existed. And I'm never going to be able to achieve that now because gaming has gotten ridiculously out of whack in terms of economics. But I have about close to 500, like 470 or something like that. I'm always picking up little titles here and there. I don't have many very valuable ones, a couple $100 ones, a couple $200 ones maybe, but I love the NES. I have 470 or 80 games on that thing. My next favorite console, I'm not exactly sure. Probably the Sega Genesis. PS1 and PS2 are up there. But this is an Xbox 360 stream. So we'll talk about Dead Rising here. This was an exclusive to Xbox made by Keiji Inafune, who was known for the Mega Man games at this time and Mega Man Legends and stuff like that. Oh, don't mind me, I'm stretching my legs. And Dead Rising was a totally unique gameplay style, definitely heavily inspired by the George Romero zombie films. And you basically had to survive for 24 hours, and you had to rescue as many survivors as you possibly could while slaying hordes of zombies, and this game is way over the top. I do prefer the second game. My brother and I did sit down and play through, I want to say the second game. I'm actually can't remember if we played this one. And if you look down here, it's got a funny little warning. This game was not developed, approved, or licensed by the owners or creators of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, because it bore such a striking resemblance to the movies. But it does differentiate itself while paying great homage to the classics. Here we have Deadfall Adventures. This is a game that I recently added to my collection because I had an eye on this for a very long time, because what does it look like to you? It looks like King Solomon's Mines or Indiana Jones. Obviously, H.R. Haggard's King Solomon's Mines would end up influencing Indiana Jones and some of the early Zorro films and Treasure Sierra Madre. But obviously, the look of Indiana Jones comes from Alan Quatermain and Haggard's early or late 1800s novels of, spelunking, of cave spelunking and ancient ruins and finding treasure. This even has a minecart sequence there. So yeah, Alan Quatermain. This looks like a fun game. It is a AA game, so I'm not expecting it to blow me out of the water. But hey, if it runs at like a solid 30 frames and gives me some unique first-person shooter action adventure, I will be a happy boy. Here we have Earth Defense Force and Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon. So we have 2017 and Insect Armageddon. I've never played the Earth Defense Force games. I know the original SNES one is a shmup, or a shooter as we used to call them back in the day. But this one looks right up my alley. I mean, it has giant mecha, giant ants, and you're a little guy shooting the hell out of everything. So it looks super tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, that one's going for like a Starship Troopers sort of vibe there. And I love the artwork there, actually. It looks great. But yeah, so that's a series I've honestly yet to get into, but it looks right up my alley. It looks like tokusatsu, kaiju, all that over-the-top madness. Let's see. Jolly Good says, I feel bad about your deleted live stream. It's all cool. Yeah, don't worry about it. Thank you. Oh, I'm relying on you to let me know if I'm being heard or not. So thank you so much, Jolly Good. Hey, if anybody's in the live stream and is enjoying it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. That really helps with exposure and bringing new people into the channel. And these live streams are definitely helping do that. So I really appreciate you guys. Here we have what was the premiere edition of Oblivion up until the remake Shadow dropped about a month ago, which I dumped a solid 50 hours into. I could never really get into Oblivion. I was more of a Skyrim guy, which I always thought was more accessible. Oblivion was brutal. It came out before Fallout 3, I'm pretty sure, so even more rudimentary Bethesda sort of development here. And yeah, it's glitchy. It's got all the things that make a Bethesda game. But this one, I really wanted to love back in the day, but I just could not. This Game of the Year edition has everything, all the special content, the DLC and everything. So yes, thank you, Jolly Good. I really appreciate it. Here we have Eternal Sonata, a beautiful looking little JRPG here with vibrant graphics and anime-inspired character design, obviously. This one I've heard many, many good things about, and I've yet to play it. So when I'm in the mood for a good 360 JRPG, of which there aren't too many, that one will be one that I consider. Here we have Fable 2 and 3. I played the first Fable and loved it, loved its decision-making and how you could kind of take on an evil or good persona. This one continues in its vein, but honestly, I probably played this a bit back in the day, but never really got into it. Fable 3, I don't think I've ever played, but it does look like the story continues. The character gets older and older. I really want to sit down and play through this trilogy at some point. I think I'm missing out. Here we have Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition. I originally played this on the PS3. I got it I bought it from Blockbuster when they were going out of business for like $3 or $4, and brought it home and really was mind blown at the RPG elements fused with a first-person shooter. I had never played anything like that. And it blew my mind and opened me up to the possibilities of Western RPGs, because at that point, the Japanese were really, really focused on the JRPG style, which was turn-based. And I still love turn-based, but boy, do I love me a good Western RPG, especially of the Fallout ilk. Fear 3 is a game I've yet to play, but the first one and the second one are excellent. Great creature design, great sound design, and I really enjoyed the first two, so I need to sit down and play this. Look at that crazy Lovecraftian creature there. Yes, the only Blockbuster that is actually left is in Bend, Oregon, from what I understand. Fight Night Round 3, I picked this up for $4 at a thrift shop because I realized I needed a Fight Night game, because man, do I get a hankering to play these games every once in a while. I do think Champion is the best. I think that was the last and the most optimized and best, frame rate and the best gameplay. I do think Champion is awesome. Fist of the North Star. This is Hakuto no Ken. This is based on the old manga and anime. This was the first game on the modern consoles. I think there was a bunch of Fist of the North Star games. I think 3 on the Famicom and 1 on the NES, which was the one on the NES was number 2 in Japan. But yeah, this is from an anime that I do adore, especially the movie. I've seen a lot of the anime show, most of the episodes, and I've seen the film a few times too, and the film is fantastic. You guys should check it out if you don't want to check out the more serialized version. I will say the serialized version, I think, is the only way we can watch it uncut, because it's hyper violent. Kenshiro goes around in a Mad Max-like wasteland and hits dudes in their pressure points, like he walks away, and the anime villain's like, ha ha ha, you think you could defeat me so easily? Ha ha, you'll have to do better than, and then he starts exploding into guts and tendons, and it's disgusting, but awesome. And this is a game based on that, so I have to play that at some point. Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, a series that I've played the first 2 and liked quite a bit. Never played the third one. I don't know. A series that doesn't really appeal to me anymore. Did appeal to me when I was younger. Have a lot of fond memories playing this one with more than one person. They were couch co-op games. So that's always neat. Here we have Golden Axe Beast Rider. I want to say there was a Golden Axe game on the Game Gear. I'm pretty sure I have that. Axe Battler. And then there's Beast Rider. So there's Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3. I think 3 was on the Sega Channel or only released overseas. But 1 and 2, obviously, over here I have 2 there and then 1 in the corner. I still need the box for 1. But this is a modern interpretation of the Golden Axe series that doesn't really have much to do with it. It looks like it plays like a God of War style of game, and if that's the case, I can get past the fact that this is supposed to be a beat-em-up, a 2D beat-em-up, but hey, it is what it is. I do want to try this at some point. Everybody says it's garbage, but usually I think people are saying it's garbage because they wanted something else, and that's not how my mind operates. I judge things based on, what they actually are in their final form. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Jolly Good. Oh, the Gears of War. Yeah, well, I don't know. The gameplay doesn't hold up quite as much as it used to. It's a very simple duck and cover mechanic, or shoot and cover mechanic. So you kind of pop up, shoot the guys, go back down, reload, pop up, shoot the guys, rinse, repeat. So yeah, they were cinematic at the time, though, I will say. Here's Halo 3. Halo 3 ODST, these are the last 2 made by Bungie, so really the last 2 that I'm really interested in playing. This was the first by 343 Industries, and I hear the series takes a turn for the worse, unfortunately. Here's a real-time strategy game that I bought for $2 at a Goodwill recently, and this has great 3D models and is an overhead RTS game in the vein of Command & Conquer and Age of Empires and Battle for Middle-earth, which also got an Xbox 360 release. This Battle for Middle-earth 2 got an Xbox 360 release that I really would like to track down and try. Jolly Good says, my father owned the original Halo on the original Xbox because the game is not for kids. I'd argue that it's pretty close to being for kids, the first one at least. you know, it's pretty harmless. Blood and gore and violence, sure, but you're killing aliens, so I don't know. But hey, to each their own. You know, we're all gonna raise our kids a little differently, and that just depends on the maturity levels. But I understand what you're saying. When I was 12, my dad and mom let me play Halo because I was a little, I guess, ahead of the curve in terms of understanding that it was fiction. Great battles, medieval. I'm not sure what type of game this is. It obviously takes place during the Hundreds-Year War, and has hordes of combatants here. I'm not sure if this is like Kessen or if this is like Dynasty Warriors or what this is, but it's in the same game franchise as the Civil War History Channel game. If you guys are fans of Jurassic Park the film, and who isn't, this is a great Telltale's game, which is an a point-and-click adventure game that takes place during the events of the first film. So it's like a parallel kind of story to the first film, and has a lot of callbacks, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of fan service, but really tells a cool story in and of its own, and your decisions and your reaction times actually make a difference. And yeah, it's a very good game, and this one is getting a bit more valuable for the 360. So pick it up now, because in the next 5 to 10 years, 360 is going to get expensive. Mark my words, in the next 5 years. Telltale games are great, yes. They have Walking Dead, they have Game of Thrones, they have Batman, maybe I think they did Back to the Future. All very good games. Here we have a launch title for the 360 that was exclusive and really was created to show off what Rare can do with the new Microsoft technology after the buyout of Rare by Microsoft from Nintendo. So Cameo Elements of Power I've yet to play, but it looks right up my alley. I love these sort of 3D platformers of this era, and I love when they were trying new IPs and taking risks. It was an exciting time for games. Here you have a Final Fantasy inspired. In fact, I think this was created with some of the same team that worked on some Final Fantasy games, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. Famed creator Hironobu Sakaguchi of Mistwalker he did Blue Dragon after this, and then he worked for Final Fantasy. And this is like a very dark kind of medieval take on the Final Fantasy sort of games, but it is called Lost Odyssey, so it's not a Final Fantasy game. But it has these large-scale battles, and I hear it has a really good story, and just looks right up my alley, turn-based combat, so I really want to try this out sometime when I decide to pick up a JRPG. Yeah, I'm not sure what the last Rare game worth a crap was. Yeah, Viva Pinata DS. I'm pretty sure they're still making games. I think they were doing Connect games for quite a long time. They got roped into that. They got bought out and paid off to make shitty Connect games for eternity. That's hell. They were so talented, too. What was it? I forget the brothers' names, but man, were they talented. Lost Planet Extreme Condition. This is a collector's edition with a beautiful steelbook. I'm so happy to have this. It's not very valuable or anything, but it's valuable to me because this game, it has a CD soundtrack too. Capcom developed this, and I had always been a big Capcom fan. So coming out of the more retro eras, and when this was modern, I saw Capcom develop this, and I was like, I'm in. And I always felt like it was kind of it felt like Mega Man Legends in a lot of ways, and then I would learn later that it was kind of designed to be a Mega Man Legends game. But I love this game. I think it's got very nuanced and subtle combat that has a learning curve, but once you learn it, it becomes very intuitive. And I highly recommend this for my action-adventure fans out there. It takes place on a planet that emulates sort of the Arctic, Arctic world. Very cool. Snowy drifts and all that kind of stuff. Great character design and monster design, which is not shown off on the box here, but definitely is shown off a bit on the back here. Yeah, it kind of blends technology with organics and bioorganics, I guess, and it's really cool. I've never played 2 or 3, I gotta be honest, but 1 I have very fond memories of. I still need to beat it because I never beat the final boss on this one. It got brutal. Max Payne 3 was developed not by Remedy, but by Rockstar, one of the teams that worked on some of the GTA games. And so that was a bit of a letdown when this was announced, but once I played it, I realized that it was a really good action game in and of its own right. It's very streamlined. shies away from the exploration of the original 2 games and really gives you a streamlined, hardcore, intense, cinematic version of the Max Payne universe. Tells a very Max Payne-like story for sure, but it doesn't feel like a Remedy game, and that's because it's not, you know? So once you kind of get over that, you can appreciate it for what it is. I enjoy this game. I think it's a 4 out of 5. I think the original games are 5 out of 5s. Hello, little stupid kitty. Oh, that's a... There you go. Give me some viewers, kitty. Give me some likes. Give a thumbs up for the kitty. Come on. Give me a thumbs up. Oh, he's attacking me now. Oh, no. He just wants to play. All right, we're not playing. Get out of my face. Get out of here, kid. You're bothering me. Here we have Midnight Club, which I always associated with Sony, but I have here, obviously I got it at Goodwill. I have here on the 360. This was the 4th, I want to say, Midnight Club game. Kitty, can you move out of my way, please, kitty? Thank you. All right, here we have the orange box. Now, I will say, I would advise you to get this on the 360 if you're thinking about it. The PlayStation 3 version is not optimized. It is glitchy. The frame rate's not there. It's kind of broken. This is the version to get, obviously, because Microsoft and Steam, and it's just more optimized for the 360. So this, he always demands food. Yes, cat always wants food. Doesn't care about your well-being. Just wants food. It's all a trick. It's all a pretense. We have Half-Life 2. This is great because it confusingly has Episode 1 and 2, which happens to be the full Half-Life 2 game, so it's got the entire Half-Life 2. Team Fortress 2, which never interests me because that was an online-only kind of the first kind of, first-person shooter, that squad-based first-person online shooter. Maybe not the first, but it was early. And then Portal, which is a really mind-bending and mind-expanding video game experience. It takes about 3-4 hours to beat. It's got a great story, conspiratorial kind of psychological story that sucks you in, and great mind-bending puzzles that will frustrate you and then invigorate you upon completion. So, very good game. Yeah, jolly good. My dog, I don't want to talk about it really, but my dog passed away about 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago now, and I had him for 14 years, and it ripped my heart out and threw it away. And so, moving on. Overlord. We have a game that always reminded me of Pikmin, with a kind of comedic, medieval, kind of fantasy spin on it. Control a horde of minions. Yeah, I don't know really what this is about, but it looks cool. It looks cool, so I want it. This is a game I actually sat down and played a little less than a year ago. I sat down and played through this, and I had fond memories of playing it back in the day, but never beating it, and so I wanted to sit down as an adult and actually do so. This has a great cinematic introduction with a great main character, really cool, Native American, so this kind of blends technology with Native American mysticism, which is very unique. You get abducted in the beginning of this game, and you have to fight your way off this alien ship and save your girl, which... I don't want to give you spoilers, but this game takes goes in a pretty twisted direction, but I love it. I will say it overstays its welcome a bit. I wish it was a few levels shorter than it actually is, but with that said, it gets a little rinse and repeat, but with that said, still a very unique first-person shooter. Never played PGR 3, Project Gotham Racing 3, because, frankly, because I really liked the first 2, and I heard that 3 was kind of a step down, but I do want to figure that out for myself, if that's the case. Project Sylphid, Arc of Deception by Square Enix. I'm pretty confident they developed this one. And this is a shooter, or an on-rails shooter of some kind. I'm not exactly sure because I've never played it. And this is an exclusive to the Xbox. So that's why I own it. Here was a game that came out at launch, actually, on the 360. So this one I got years later off the free shelf at one of my jobs, so I got this for free. I played this back in the day because, the way I played all of the launch titles for any console. I used to, back when rentals were hot, I would just go to the rental shop and I'd buy one game, but I would rent a bunch of others, which would give me the opportunity to experience all the launch titles. And launch titles were always an exciting thing. Not really anymore. That's kind of something of the past now, because most launch titles are digital, and that's just not exciting. So, Quake 4, I still need to sit down and give a shot to. It's got some nasty adhesive on there. All right, and here we have table tennis. I adore this game. I remember when Rockstar announced this, everybody was like, what the fuck? Rockstar is doing a ping pong game? And yes, this is, and we all were like, well, it's got to be more than that, right? They're not going to just do a ping pong game. And then the game came out, and what do you know? It was just a fast-paced and super intense and intuitive ping pong game here. My brother kicks my ass in this game every time, so there's no point in playing him. But it is a fun game, and I really want to sit down and play through like the story mode of this. It's such a crazy game. It's just ping pong, but it is the best ping pong game you'll ever play. And yes, this was on the Wii, and it had the stupid kind of Wii, motion controls, which I've always not really liked, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it did have a Wii release, but this, I believe, is the original release. Here we have Saints Row 2, a game that my brother played incessantly when he was way too young to play it, but he did, because that's the way the world was back in the day. We didn't, go out and shoot places up after. This is a co-op actually experience here. You can actually get co-op going on this. This is a GTA ripoff, and these were more like street level, gang affiliated, like Warriors-like games, the first two, and then 3 and beyond, the series gets more and more over the top and absurd and satirical, but they've always been satirical of the gang culture and all that kind of madness. And this one did carve out its own legacy. And 2, I hear, is the best, one of the best of the series, and my brother swears by it, the first 2. Here we have the Serious Sam collection. I'm not sure how optimized these are in terms of how they run, but I do love the Serious Sam games, and I played them on the PC growing up, and still do on occasion. But I wanted them, in a concise, nice collection that I could sit down and play on my 360 in HD. And this one includes Serious Sam 1, 2, Serious Sam 3, and some DLC for Serious Sam 3. So this is fantastic. It's got 4 games total and some DLC. And these are crazy, over-the-top, non-stop action, but very strategic and almost like a puzzle game. You have to approach the enemies in a certain way and kind of flank them and kind of keep moving and keep shooting. And some of these enemies come at you like bats out of hell. All of them do. That's what's so cool about this game, is the enemies, it's like the movie It Follows. All of the enemies in this game just beeline for you, and they're like, ah, like coming after you, screaming. You have like legs running after you with no head, torsos. It's insane. It's an insane game, but it's perfect for insane people like moi. Here we have Sonic Generations, a Sonic game that I hear really brought back some of the great gameplay to the Sonic franchise. And I do want to sit down and play this. This kind of blends 2D with 3D, 2.5D, well, 2D and 3D, if you will. And this actually got remade recently with Shadow included, and I hear that game is one of the best Sonic games ever. Everybody tells me at the game store I work at that it's fantastic. Here we have a couple Splinter Cell games that I picked up at Goodwill recently, and I picked these up because I've yet to play them. These are a couple of the ones on the 360. I've only played the ones on the original Xbox, so I do want to give this forgotten franchise a chance at some point. Oh, nice. You played Shadow Generations? Yeah, I definitely want to pick that up, man. That one looks really good and looks kind of like an update of Sonic Generations from what I understand. Here we have one of the many reboots of Turok. This one, or one of the many Turok games. This one's just called Turok, and boy, does it look like you hunt dinosaurs. So this looks like it really brings it back to the original N64 game and gives you like a jungle romp, just blowing dinosaurs out of existence, which, never gets old to me. So, Turok the Dinosaur Hunter, based on the old comics, I think, right? Legends of WrestleMania. This one, my brother and I have played. It's a pretty solid wrestling game. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's a good one and has a lot of, wrestlers from my era and before, and the 90s, early 2000s, and a lot of classic wrestlers, Jake the Snake, Ultimate Warrior, all those kinds of guys too. Has some really fun story modes, I will say, and is not a bad game by THQ. All right, we're going to check in with the chat here, which is not as poppin' as it usually is, but that's okay. I'm a humble man. I'm happy for any interaction. I'm just going to check in with you guys and say, feel free to give the stream a thumbs up. I don't see any thumbs up. That's unacceptable. No. That just helps me with exposure, guys, and it helps YouTube with the algorithm and having my freaking live streams show up. That's part of my issue, is I'm not very algorithm friendly. So, you know, I get skewed, pushed to the side in favor of people who talk about the same things over and over and over again. I like to talk about things that make my channel unique. So feel free to give me a thumbs up if you support that. That would be lovely. All right, The Undertaker, #1 wrestler. Yes, absolutely. He's fantastic. Yeah, no, absolutely. On that second live stream try, we got some folks coming in. I don't like to call the people that watch this channel fans. I think fans is a weird word, but we'll call them audiences. An audience and my friends. You guys are my friends, especially the people that keep coming back. I know you all by your name. I've never met you, but you guys mean the world to me for helping support the channel. All right, so can you tell which console I collect the least for? I think it has to obviously be Xbox One. The backwards compatibility with all these games now is very confusing. I wish that I could put these in my, an Xbox Series S or whatever it is, the one with the disc drive, and upgrade these, but not all of them you can. Unlike the PS4, a lot of these give you a free upgrade, which is wonderful. Like, I got a copy for $0.25, Mortal Kombat 11 in a thrifting trip I did, and I put it in the machine, and it upgraded to the Ultimate Edition for free. So it gave me all the extra characters for free. Xbox doesn't like to do shit like that, so I don't really collect for Xbox. So what you'll find is almost all of them, I want to say, are exclusives. So no, the Stephen King thing, I was referring to Alan Wake. I was talking about how influenced the Remedy game makers were by Stephen King's books. So if you like Stephen King's books, you'll definitely like the story in this game. It's very Stephen King-like, almost with some Lovecraftian. Obviously, Stephen King was inspired by Lovecraft. Let's go one by one. We have Dead Rising 3, a game that definitely gives you a different sort of atmosphere than the iconic mall setting that the original games give you, and 4 would go back to. But this one takes place, I think, on the West Coast in L.A., Los Perdidos, so I think that's a fictional L.A. kind of thing. Los Perdidos might be a real place, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I mean, same kind of thing. You're building weapons, driving. Actually, in this one, you could drive around, it looks like. Well, you could do that in the old ones. Blowing up zombies in all kinds of creative ways. And I do need to sit down and play this. It's more of an open world Dead Rising. Actually, I should say all of them are kind of open world. This one is made by Capcom, and they teamed up with Microsoft to do an exclusive for whatever reason. So there you go. That's why I own it. Yeah, I agree. Rare replay. I'll talk about that in a second. Here we have Far Cry Primal. Why do I have it on the 1? This is also on the 4. But from what I understand, this one runs better. Is that right? This one runs better on the Xbox One, maybe a higher frame rate, which I do prefer for modern games. I prefer a high frame rate as opposed to, incredibly detailed graphics. I'm more of a frame rate guy. Run smooth instead. But this is a Far Cry game that always appealed to me, really brings you back into ancient times, and definitely not historically accurate, but you're hunting all these giant creatures, saber-toothed tigers, and all sorts of cool things, and riding them. But it is a Far Cry game at its core, so it's got the crazy over-the-top combat and the great leveling up system and skill system. I got this at Goodwill for $1 or something, and I don't know, I was going to sell it, but then I looked at it and looked it up, and it looks like a pretty fun real-time strategy kind of game. Side-scrolling, pixel art, real-time strategy game, and it comes with 2 games, it looks like. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know much about this. These look like mobile games, if I'm being honest, but I don't know. They look like maybe tower defense, kind of real-time strategies. This one might have been on the PS3, or no, PS4. I don't think so. Oh, no, console exclusive. There you go. Well, that's why I own it, because this is a Remedy game, same developer as Alan Wake and Max Payne 1 and 2. And they tried to do this kind of video game that kind of works in a symbiotic relationship with a television show that was airing at the same time. So if you want the full experience, you do have to watch the television show. I most likely won't be doing that. I will most likely just be playing the game. And I hear it's great. I hear it controls a lot like the Control video game, which we talked about on the PS5. Sorry. Yeah, right there. So this came out before Control, but looks very similar in terms of its combat and its action, third-person shooting combat. So, oh, that's nice, Jolly Good. You're selling kids' DVDs. What are you doing that at a flea market or a yard sale or something? Good for you. It's very nice. Here we have Rare Replay. Got this at the Goodwill, obviously, too. 30 games, 1 collection. I think that's really nice. This is an exclusive, obviously, because Rare is owned by Microsoft. Man, this has a lot of the games I grew up. Snake Rattle Roll, Perfect Dark, even as the Viva Pinata games, Perfect Dark Zero, Blast Core, Battletoads, Banjo-Kazooie, Digger T-Rock, a super obscure NES game. Jetpack Refueled is cool. Jetpack and Jetpack Refueled, because those were, I think, downloadable only. Gunfight, got games I've never even heard of. Slalom, that was an NES game. Wow. That's right, they did RC Pro. Lunar Jetman. So this is cool because it collects some of the the downloadable only games onto a physical copy here. So, you know I love my physical copies. I'll take it. Here's a game that only came out on the Xbox One. That's Recore. And this is by Keiji Inafune, who did some games we talked about earlier. Lost Planet, Mega Man Legends, a lot of the Mega Man games. And there's some theories out there that he may have taken some of the Mighty Number 9 money and put it into Recore and Red Ash. This game does kind of play like a Mega Man Legends sort of game, so I think that there might be some truth to that. Kind of feels like Lost Planet, kind of feels like Mega Man Legends, but does have its own unique sort of flow to it. I did play this a bit, but then I learned that I could play it on the Xbox One and it would be a better experience because the frame rate's better. And here we have a launch title exclusive by Microsoft, developed by Crytek, called Rise, Son of Rome. Any game that takes place during the Roman Empire. This is late Roman Empire, so we're talking, in the AD. We're talking after Caesar's time, after the original, Julio Claudian dictators, emperors. So this is toward the end of the Roman Empire, 300s AD, if my mind serves correctly. But very authentic for the time in terms of its setting. Very intuitive and nuanced controls that make you feel very powerful. It's got some Colosseum gladiator scenes that look so cool. And I definitely want to sit down and play this rather cinematic-looking game. So we shall see. Blow it out your ass. Nathan says, hey, I've recently discovered your channel. I love it. Epic collection. Yeah, that's one word for it. My goodness. Oh, yeah, thank you, Nathan. I'm glad you enjoy the 93 Mario Brothers movie. You are not the only one. I am an apologist for it. I could stick up for it all day. I think it's brimming with creativity. Yes, it has a lot of issues because of the behind the scenes, and it's not very cohesive, but it makes for such a fun, dreamlike film that has nothing to do really with the Mario games, but just enough to kind of hold your interest if you're a Mario fan. And what can I say? It's a fun movie with great set design, which was actually made by the same guy who did the set design for Blade Runner, which actually, if you watch it through that lens, you could totally see. And it's got great special effects. It has a lot of things going for it. Sure, it's cheesy. It doesn't have a great story, but man, I love it. I think it's a good movie. It's not a bad one. Good direction, or good directors, too. Bugs Bunny, Birthday Blowout. Yep, Blowout, yeah. Yeah, I like that game. But hey, I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, we're going to get through even more here. I am going to give you guys a quick view of nothing. I'm sorry. Actually, we'll do that. I'll be right back. I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back, and we will take a look at the GameCube, which I know people love, especially right now. And we're also going to knock out the Wii. Why not? We'll get it done today. Be right back, folks. Kitty. All right. Oh, Kitty. What are you doing, Kitty? Oh, calm down. Sorry, my room's a mess right now. Nisamawa. Nisamawa. Some mizu. Mizu this. All right, we've got Nathan Higgins. Yes, I've been watching since 07 too. Yeah, right around that time, Nathan. So we're the OG fans. He's had some ups and downs, but I still stick with him. And I really enjoyed the James and Mike videos when those were going on. I've been a fan for a long time. I watched your anime collection video and was wondering if you have seen the Big O. I have not seen the Big O yet, but I had it on DVD and I sold it off and I picked up the Blu-ray. I've been told it's right up my alley, so... Oh, thank you. Yes, I wore a video game shirt today. It says it's on like Donkey Kong. A little trite, you know, but still, Donkey Kong shirt. All right, guys. Here's a quick look at everything we've looked at in previous live streams. Those are all archived, so feel free to check those out if you so please. And also, please feel free to give this live stream a thumbs up. Thumbs up for the kitty. Come on, let me see at least one thumbs up for the kitty. The lovable kitty. All right, we're going to get right into everybody's favorite console, the GameCube, which is impossible to collect for these days because, my God, has it got out of hand. Some of these games are worth tons of money, and I'll go over them as I talk about it. So, Kitty's attacking my hand here. All right, let's see. How is that? Is the camera looking good? Can you guys hear me? Hear my voice? Give me some verification in the chat, and we will start with the GameCube. Can you guys hear me? Everything good? Thank you for the thumbs up, whoever did that. I appreciate that. All right, until somebody tells me that the stream is messed up. Okay, all good. Thank you, Jolly Good. We're going to continue on. GameCube. Love the console. I was there day one. I bought Wave Race and Luigi's Mansion with my own money at the time, actually. I was working, I was helping my stepfather, and I was also, you know, mowing the lawn and saving money, and yeah, this was one of the first consoles I helped buy by myself. I'm not going to say I bought it all, I don't remember doing that, but I definitely bought the games. It was a big investment. Here we have 007 Nightfire. This is a Bond game that I've heard excellent things about, and I hear that the GameCube version is actually the best version. I used to own this on the OG Xbox. I actually owned it on the PS2 at some point, but I figure, you know, Bond has always been associated with Nintendo for me, so if that's supposed to be the best one, so be it. I'll give it a shot. 99 cents, got this at Goodwill for 99 cents. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, a lot of GameCube games, yeah, sold very, very well. GameCube games are unfairly expensive, Nathan says. I agree. It's unfair, but hey, it's an unfair world. You gotta harden yourself to it, sadly. Here we have Army Men, RTS, real-time strategy. Well, I love the Army Men games for what they are, even though they're kind of bad, and but kind of fun, and real-time strategy. So that's the blending of two worlds that I really enjoy. This looks great. This looks right up my alley. Can't wait to actually sit down and play this. I've had it in the collection for a long time. Beach Spikers! This is Sega doing a fantastic arcade-inspired volleyball game, Virtua Beach Volleyball. It's almost connected to like the Virtua games, Virtua Fighter games in a weird way. And hot girls from all over the world, and excellent volleyball that can't really get any better. I mean, the controls are perfectly intuitive, doesn't take you too much time to learn, and once you learn it, you really sink into its controls and have a blast of a time. In fact, if you want to see my brother and I play this, we did a series, 3 episodes of it, called Press Start Player 2, and that's on my channel, and you could watch us play this game with some really funny edits, and we get mad at each other, we yell, and I kick his ass, so there you go. Honestly, one of the most fun arcade sports games I've ever played. It should be T for teen, because, yeah, it's got boobies galore. But they're all clad in bikinis, so there you go. Bomberman Jetters. This is a game that I can't say I've played, but has always appealed to me with sort of blending that style, the old school traditional style of Bomberman with the new, more 3D style of Bomberman Hero and Bomberman 64. This one looks fun, a great cel-shaded style, and which is unique to this one. And yeah, it looks super fun, doesn't it? I'll give it a shot. Here's a game that I was so obsessed with playing back in the day, because it seemed to me like a cell shading was all the rage. So like you had 13, which was a cell shaded first person shooter. You had this, which was a cell shaded kind of twisted metal destruction derby, blow up the other cars kind of game with way over the top Looney Tunes inspired vehicles, and just really fun. And I've picked this up at Goodwill in 2016. It looks like for $1. And I have it on the GameCube. I had it on the Xbox originally. I think I got it at launch or close to launch of the Xbox. And yeah, really fun game that I haven't played in many, many years. I'm sure it holds up, especially with a few people. Here's one of the more sought-after, expensive games on the GameCube. This is an exclusive first-party Nintendo title, Chibi Robo. Plug into Adventure. This is an action-adventure platformer where you solve puzzles, and you're this little guy that goes up in this smart home kind of thing and cleans up and solves issues and cooks and does all these kinds of things. I don't really know what the gameplay loop is like in this game, and that's exciting for me. This is a first-party Nintendo game I've never played, so I really want to look into playing this at some point. I have the sequel, which came to the 3DS, still sealed, actually. I think I have Chibi Robo over here. Let's see. Yep, Chibi Robo, still sealed, which is a 3DS sequel. And never played a single Bomberman, Jolly Good. That's okay. I mean, they're fun. You should try one. And yeah, Chibi Robo, we both heard good things about. Here we have Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. I loved these Dave Mirra games back in the day because they were basically Tony Hawk ripoffs. And yeah, what can I say? It's Tony Hawk, and you're on a BMX bike, which I always thought was cooler because I was more of a biker than a skater. That's just me. Hop on the pegs, do some grinds. What up? I actually never really did stuff like that. I tried and failed miserably, but you could build your own courses, which I remember having tons of fun with. Some of these courses get way over the top and wacky, but this was a fun Tony Hawk-like BMX freestyle game that I think still holds up today. Nathan asks, do you like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies? And do you like the 2014 Mutant Ninja Turtle movies? Also, what's your favorite decade of cinema? Favorite decade of cinema is, obvious. I would say, probably the 70s or 80s. 70s, 80s, or 90s. 30s is up there, too. The Sonic the Hedgehog movies, yes, I have fun with. I think they're all like 3 out of 5 movies. I think they're pretty solid across the board. And fun, never boring. But I have my issues with them. And the 2014 TMNT, no, I'm not a big fan. I have tried 2 or 3 times, and every time I watch them, I'm disappointed. The action set pieces in some of them are okay. I hate the design of the turtles. I hate Megan Fox as April O'Neil. I hate all of the deviations. I hate how pretty everything looks and how glossy. Yeah, all the things that I love about the original film are taken out of the 2014 film. And like the fart jokes and stuff. I don't know. It's just not my kind of thing. I try. Everybody's a critic. Absolutely. Hey, we have the right to be. Critique. Everybody has the right to critique, right? But yeah, everybody has an opinion on that one, and mine's not too unique, if I'm being honest. I try to like those movies, but I have major issues with them. Here was a game that I absolutely needed back in the day. Oh, yeah, same thing with Nathan with the Transformers movies. I can't really get into them. I think that the action is incomprehensible, which takes away the whole point if you're making a Transformers movie series. Logistically speaking, the action and the editing, and it's just not Michael Bay's best stuff. And I'm a huge Michael Bay fan outside of the Transformers stuff, and it's a shame he got bogged down with that franchise. That made him a ton of money. Looks like metal in a blender. Exactly. Hey, that's fine, Jolly Good. I didn't hate it. I don't hate many films. I just think it's mediocre and not really worth me rewatching. Anyway, this one, Die Hard Vendetta, this was supposed to come to, the 64 or... I can't remember. But it got repurposed and released for the GameCube. This is a pretty decent Die Hard game. It's not the best thing in the world. The controls are a little funny. But it does feel like a Die Hard game, and you get to do some Die Hard-like scenarios. It does not have the voice of Bruce Willis like in the Die Hard trilogy games, but it does have the voice of Reginald Vell Johnson as Al Powell. Die Hard Vendetta, very cool, exclusive GameCube game there. Here we have some Donkey Kong games I've never really gotten into. EA Sports Big. Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Tricky. It's tricky to rock around. Jungle Beat, which is like a platformer that you use the bongos with, which I do have the bongos in my closet over there. And, yeah, you kind of use the bongos to do some light platforming and, music rhythm kind of combined with platforming. So there you go. And these two are more musical rhythm games, but kind of platformers as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember if I'm being... It looks like a bunch of different mini games. Okay, yeah, this is more of a rhythm game. Music rhythm game, these two. Looks like I got that one for $1 at Goodwill, and that one at Goodwill at some point. And let me check the condition, make sure it's in okay shape. Oh yeah, perfect. Isn't it amazing how many games, through stubborn perseverance, I have found at the Goodwill? It's incredible. Wow, one of the most awesome and creepy games on the Nintendo GameCube. This one's up there in price, though. I want to say like 80 to 100. Eternal Darkness, you play as a cast of different characters from different time periods, all with different movesets and different stories that all kind of come together to tell this grand narrative story that really feels like something that Lovecraft would have come up with, about ancient evil and all sorts of monsters. You play as all sorts of different characters, women, men. You even like this chubby merchant, if I remember correctly. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. The cool thing about this game, and everybody knows it because of this game messes with your mind. It's a psychological horror game and a survival horror game. This game will, I don't know, all of a sudden you'll die instantly, right? And there'll be no explanation as to why, but it was actually, you didn't die, it was just a dream that the character was having, almost like in Lovecraftian short stories and novels where the main character sort of starts to unravel, and you kind of go along on that ride with him as he loses his mind. This game really captures that in a video game as well as one could, and it'll give you like the green screen of death and be like, your console is corrupted. Don't heed its advice. It is tricking you. It is playing with your mind. Keep playing. Play through it. Don't let it get to you. The sanity meter. You have a sanity meter. Here we have F-Zero GX. Oh, this game is so great. One of the fastest F-Zero game by far, and probably the best F-Zero game, if I'm not mistaken. I love this game. I think it's so good. It gets that fast-paced racing, Wipeout style, F-Zero style racing so well. A cast of colorful characters. I want to say this is the last F-Zero game we got. Maybe we got one on the GBA at or around the same time. But man, what a cool game, and definitely an expensive game at this point. Anything first party on the GameCube is gonna be expensive. Here's a game that still holds up. All the FIFA Street games. There's EA Big. All the FIFA Street games are fun still to this day. I don't have them all, but I'm happy to have Street and Hit or NFL Street. Crystal Chronicles is a game I've yet to play. I know this has really cool compatibility with the Game Boy Advance. But this one I definitely want to sit down and play at some point. Looks like a nice old school. I think this is it? Okay. Yeah, it's not co-op. You need 4 Game Boy Advances and 4 Chronicles titles on that. It's ridiculous. But it looks fun. Hopefully you could play it one player. Here we have Geist, which is short for Poltergeist, which plays into the mechanics of the game where you kind of hop out of bodies. You're kind of a poltergeist and you hop into bodies and make them open doors for you or solve puzzles, and then you kind of move around as a spirit and take possession of different enemies, and that's kind of how you progress through the game. I remember trying it back in the day and enjoying it. It is an exclusive to the Nintendo GameCube, and I do want to sit down and play through it at some point. AVGN episodes, dude, the first 3 or 4 seasons are gold. I really feel like all of them are gold, and they still make me feel nostalgic, and they make me laugh. If I'm thinking of one off the top of my head, I've always loved the Ghostbusters ones. I've always loved the Castlevania episodes, like the 4-parter. Those are fantastic. The ones where he's super passionate about the game, but he also like rips into them. I love those. Gladius, or Gladius. This came out around the time of Gladiator, a couple years after. And this is a LucasArts game. I hear that this game is really good, really unique in its gameplay style. I want to say it's sort of a strategy, gladiatorial RPG. You ever play anything like that? This sounds super unique. Choose from 100 different characters. Competitive, brutal, gladiator-style combat. I wonder if it's turn-based. I mean, if this is a turn-based Roman, action RPG, that'd be so interesting. So interesting to me. Or turn-based RPG, I should say. If you guys know anything about Gladius, let me know. Yeah, the Bugs Bunny ones are fantastic. Some of those fight sequences are great. Yeah, where he keeps finding more and more crazy castle games. There's like 6 of them, and he's going crazy. Yeah. What's up, Doc? I almost can do Mike Matei's Bugs Bunny. Really love the one where he had Lloyd Kaufman as his guest. Those, I don't know. It was fun. It was a novelty to see, but I don't know. I did chuckle at it. It was funny, but I prefer when he's solo and some of the earlier stuff. That's just me. But I'm a huge Troma fan, so seeing the two of them team up was pretty special. I gotta be honest. All right, at this rate, we're not going to be able to do Wii, but let's see. I'm going to keep moving through here. We've got GoldenEye, Rogue Agent. This is a GoldenEye game I've played about half of, and actually really good first-person GoldenEye-inspired game, not made by Rare, obviously, but all of these first-person shooter games by EA are pretty good. They just aren't as good as Perfect Dark or 007 GoldenEye on the 64. I do want to take this time to say, feel free to give the stream a thumbs up if you guys are enjoying it. There's 8 people in here, which is the max for today, so I want to say thank you to all of you guys, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Plenty more live streams like this one coming up. Here we have The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, which is another one of those where they try to get you to have 4 Game Boy Advance SPs and 4 Swords Adventures games. But you know what? I'm going to sit down and play through this, not how it was meant to be played, with one player. So it looks like a slightly different variation, a variation on the standard Zelda gameplay, so I'll give that a shot at some point. This one I remember I got super cheap. Excuse me. Super cheap. I don't remember where. Thrift shop or something. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Kind of a remaster. And the Master Quest, which is really cool. So this one has some demos of old games. And, you know, it's just a slightly better way to play the Ocarina of Time game. And here we have Zelda The Wind Waker. This is obviously a classic game. Nice and complete. I remember walking into EB and getting this for like $12 at one point. Isn't that crazy? Wind Waker is a beautiful cel-shaded Zelda game that really a lot of people were weary about when it came out, mostly because of the animation style. We really were sticklers about animation styles back in the day. We wanted our realism. Even me, I was like, oh man, I want to see Ocarina of Time, you know? That kind of style. But hey, once I played this game, all that went out the window because it was one of the better, still is one of the best Zelda games I've played. It's fantastic and lighthearted and wonderful and wistful and great music, all that good stuff. Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion is a launch title for the GameCube that kind of blindsided us because we were all expecting a 3D Mario game for the GameCube at launch, but we didn't get one. We got Luigi's Mansion, so they kind of threw us a curveball, and once we sat down and played it, we knew why. This game is like Ghostbusters. You kind of go around sucking up ghosts, finding secrets, and finally beating King Boo to take back the mansion here. And it's a beautiful game. It's fun, a little spooky in a fun, lighthearted kind of way. Definitely for all ages, but I love Luigi's Mansion. It's a great game. Yep, Pikmin trailer. Yeah, that's exactly right. we have Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, a game that I've played way more than any human should with my brother. We tried to unlock everything in this game, and we came damn near close. We just have a few more things to do. Over the years, we've been chipping away at it. It's such a great golf game. I would argue I would say the best golf game I have ever played. I like the arcadey golf games. I think it's a blast. I love all the characters. Each character's slightly different. Oh, the music is fantastic, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's got great tunes. I wouldn't be surprised if Koji Kondo did some of the music for it. Even the first one has great music. Great courses, always keeps it interesting. Here we have Mario Party 4, 5, 6, and 7. All games that I have fun with. 4, 5, and 6 being our favorites. I say our because my brothers and I usually get together and play these games a couple times a year. 7 is good too, but not as memorable and starts to get a little too gimmicky for us. But yeah, this does have 1 through 8 player mini games actually, which was really unique for the time, if you could see there. But yeah, all these there's fun to be had with all these. It's just some of the mechanics that they decided to go with come across as a little gimmicky and take away from the fun for my brothers and I. We still think 2 and 3 are the best. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, and they're all very expensive. I do agree with you, Jolly Good. But they are all fun games, worth having. Great music, great graphics, great mini games. Mega Man Network Transmission. This I don't know much about. Looks like a 2D Mega Man, though. A 2D cel-shaded, side-scrolling action game here for the GameCube. And it was an exclusive, so there you go. That's why I own it. Talk about some more exclusives here. Some of my favorite games of all time. This is top 10 of all time. I think this is one of the best games ever made. The exploration, the otherworldliness, the immersion, you know, behind the eyes of Samus Aran, a character who we had only played from the side up to this point, and we get to see through her visor and take on these alien worlds in the way that we see fit. And I love the music. Beautiful, technologically, science fiction inspired music. I love the story, even though it's not too heavy on story. It's just light enough to keep you interested and kind of build out the lore of this mysterious universe that Samus Aran and Metroid inhabit. 2 is just as good, but it does have a gimmick that makes me prefer the original over. So if I was to give this a 5, this one would be a 4.5. I love both. I've beaten both multiple times, but 1 is where it's at for me, and I do want to pick up the Switch one and play through the HD remaster. That would be swell. Oh, you didn't have Metroid as a kid, huh, Jolly Good? Here we have Odama. Always reminds me of Obama or Osama or, you know, that kind of whatever. This one always intrigued me with its box art. I mean, what in the fuck is going on here? You have like this crazy-looking spider, bald, Mr. Clean-looking motherfucker. You got samurai. You've got this Colosseum, like Japanese Colosseum wrecking ball. And, you know, I still don't know what this game is. I mean, it looks totally unique. It's like a pinball game crossed with real-time strategy where you could use the microphone, which I do have. And so I want to sit down one day and play through this. I have no clue what to expect. This game looks nuts. So it's like pinball meets Kessen or something. Here we have Pac-Man Versus and Pac-Man World 2. This actually has a really unique game that you could play with a Game Boy Advance. So I do need a Game Boy Advance to do that. But you could play this like 2-player style Pac-Man game, and actually it's exclusive to this edition. And Miyamoto actually designed that game exclusively for Namco and for the Nintendo GameCube. So that is the reason to have this, but it's also a good reason to get Pac-Man World 2, which is a fun 3D platformer with Pac-Man. One of the latest additions to the collection here is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. And it is the bestseller version. I'm okay with that. It's a very nice-looking copy. And let me just make sure. Let me verify that. Yeah, beautiful-looking copy of the game. And I played about half of this when I was a kid because I was a huge fan of the first one. I've played through the first Paper Mario. I think it's wonderfully charming. And number 2 is just as good, I hear, if not better. So I do want to sit down and play this at some point. Jolly Good says, I've only grown up with the first game on the PS1, not really the Pac-Man World sequels. Yeah, the first one is pretty good too. I think the series is solid. Pikmin 1 and 2, some of the best real-time strategy games of all time, really taking the genre that was always geared towards more hardcore gamers or adults and making it accessible for everyone. Now, this game does get challenging, just like all great Nintendo games, but it gets challenging at a perfect pace and never really frustrating. Oh, it's frustrating at points. Every great game is. But Pikmin 1 and 2, two of the great RTSs of all time. All right, coming down here, this is the last shelf. Last shelf. Let me take a look at the chat here. Jolly Good says, I've recently revisited the Paper Mario game on the Switch because I've played this game on the GameCube as a kid. Yeah. Forgive me. Chugging some water. All right, we're going to get down to the last shelf, and you know what? We're going to knock out the Wii and the GameCube. We've got 25 battery. We should be able to do it. Let's do it. Hang in there, folks. Feel free to give the stream a thumbs up if you haven't already. That would be fantastico. All right, here we have, man, this was so cool at the time, Nintendo GameCube getting an exclusive Resident Evil HD remake by Capcom. This is still, in my opinion, the premier, well, I guess the premier way to play it is the Origins Collection, which gives you an even nicer HD sheen. But I will say, at the time, the graphics in this game blew everyone away. The pre-rendered graphics, which I still think could work in modern gaming, the pre-rendered graphics were so realistic and really exuded atmosphere. Oh, man, this game is so cool. But I gotta be honest with you, I've said this in past streams, I can't beat the first game in any capacity, and on any version. This game is so hard to me. The puzzles get really, really difficult, and doing things in the right order. And man, I need to sit down with like a pen and paper one day and play through that. Zero, I get really close to completing, but I always hit a wall in this game too because it gets to a point I just don't know what to do with the characters. You can control 2 separate characters, and they're kind of doing their own thing, which makes this game definitely more complex than most of the Resident Evil games. But if you want to play it on modern consoles, you could on the Origins Collection there. Here we have the OG again. Capcom teamed up with Nintendo to give to bring an exclusive Resident Evil game, the 4th one, the big one. And this was such a huge deal at the time for me and for everybody else. And this game delivered in all ways. I remember playing this when it came out. I remember the first big chainsaw fight, and then the fight with the fish in the haunted swamp. And oh man, this game blew me away. I think the remake is just as good, if not better. And the only thing holding this game back from having sort of a modern quality of life sensibility is the fact that you can't run and shoot in this Resident Evil game. In Resident Evil 5, you also couldn't do that, from what I remember. But Resident Evil 6, it was the first one where you could run and shoot. And now that is part of the series, and they managed to bring it back to survival horror with the run and shoot. So that's fantastic. Gives you a little bit more control over your character. When I first moved down here to North Carolina, I actually stopped at a few yard sales and picked up a bunch of the RPGs for this console, most of which I sold off at the time like an idiot. But this one I held on to because I always heard it has quality of life improvements for a game that I am hyper nostalgic for and is one of my favorite turn-based RPGs. That is Skies of Arcadia by the same team who brought us Phantasy Star. And this is a director's cut, as it states on the back. This lowers the random encounters, which were incessant in the original game, nonstop to the point of absolute obnoxious frustration. This one cleans that up a little bit, gives you a few more quality of life updates. This is the premier way to play it. In fact, it's just as expensive as the Dreamcast version. This also looks much nicer than the Dreamcast version. And, man, I am so glad to have this. And next time I play through Skies of Arcadia, it will be on the Dreamcast, or on the GameCube. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. This is actually the only way I have Sonic Adventure 2 right now. For whatever reason, I sold off my Dreamcast version years ago, because I'm an idiot. I don't do that type of shit anymore. But this one, I remember the Chow Garden in this one. And this is a player's choice with the piss yellow, you know. I hate that. Drives me crazy. But hey, I remember the Chow Garden and the Chow battling. This one was also compatible with the Game Boy Advance adapter. But yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 with a whole bunch more bells and whistles. A fun game. Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the best games on the Dreamcast, so, in my opinion. Yes, early Sonic 3D games ever. I agree. Sonic Heroes, a game that was a big deal at the time. I mean, because it was Sega and Nintendo teaming up. I mean, up to this point, they were harsh rivals. And once Nintendo started publishing and developing games for the GameCube, we were all like, oh, I guess we're entering a new era. And we did. This, I'm not sure if it made it to any other console. I want to say this is an exclusive. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I don't know if I played this. I guess I need to rectify that. I need to sit down and see if I played that one. Here we have Soul Calibur, The Soul Still Burns. Soul Calibur 2. This one was so cool, and I prefer this version on the GameCube because you could play as Link. How awesome. On the Sony one, you could play as Kratos, and on the Xbox one, what was it? The Master Chief, I think. So each console port had a different character you could play as. And yeah, Link plays awesome in this game. It's so cool to see Link, beating up on the other Soul Calibur characters. This is my type of fighting game. I do like the 3D fighting games a bit more than 2D. But both have their place. I like both of them. All right. It's getting comfortable here, folks. You recommend Sonic Heroes? Very fun. Good. Excellent to hear. Here's a game that started as like Dinosaur Island Adventure or something along those lines by Rare, who was doing a new IP. And it kind of got repurposed into a Star Fox game that plays like a Legend of Zelda game. Dinosaur Planet, that was the name of this one. And it still kind of feels like that. You're going planet to planet and taking on missions and beating up enemies in these small open worlds that you can explore and kind of like, unlock certain secrets and things like that and get into other levels. And I haven't sat down and played through this fully, but I did play it for a few hours and really liked what it was putting down. But it doesn't really feel like a Star Fox game. It feels more like a Legend of Zelda style adventure game, and that's totally fine by me. I don't care what the characters look like. I care about the mechanics of the game and how it plays. I mean, I do care about what the characters look like to an extent, but if it's like a swap like that and it doesn't really feel like a Star Fox game, but it's a good game, I'll praise it for what it is. Here we have Star Fox Assault. I finally settled on this Player's Choice Bestseller Edition, and because I just want to play this game. It's a Star Fox game on the GameCube that nobody talks about, and I really want to sit down and actually play through it. So, Jedi Outcast, I have this on the GameCube. Definitely not probably the premier way to play it, but still pretty cool console version of it. Here we have... we've got Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2. My God, when this game came out at launch on the GameCube here, it blew all of our minds. We had no idea that the GameCube could achieve this level of realistic graphics. I think it still holds up remarkably well in terms of how realistic the graphics look and the resolution, the detail. It is a gorgeous game, and not only is it a gorgeous game, but it plays magnificently well, too. One of the best Star Wars space shooters out there. Play it. It's a launch title, but goddamn was it good. And later we would get Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike, which I actually never sat down and played, but it looks just as good, and it looks like it has some third-person segments too, so that's pretty interesting. And what is this here? This is a preview disc. This is like a bonus disc that came with Rogue Squadron 3. Why do I own it? Well, wherever I got it for free or for a penny back in the day. And Star Wars original arcade game is on the disc. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. Limited edition preview disc. So what's it have? Nintendo or Star Wars arcade game. Let's see. Bonus content, game trailers, concept art. Yeah, this was a little promo for the game that was coming out, which was Rebel Strike, a sequel to Rogue Leader 2. Or Rogue Squadron 2. Let's see. We have a super fun arcadey soccer game with Mario. I've always loved that artwork. So cool. Oh, I suck at this game. My brothers kick the shit out of me every time we play this game. But it is a fun soccer game. A little frustrating for me because I stink at it. But that's no reason to hate on it. It's a fun game. Obviously, like most of the Mario sports games are. Here we have the classic Super Smash Bros. Melee. Mine is water damaged somehow. But that's okay. It still plays. It's missing the manual. It's seen better days because we played the fucking hell out of this game back in the day. You only play the charged one on the Wii. Oh, yeah, Super Mario Strikers Charged. That's right. I do have that one, too. But yeah, Smash Melee, my brother's favorite. I still need to play Ultimate. I haven't played it. Isn't that crazy? I have not played the new one, which has like 100 characters. But this came from a simpler time with a great single player and still holds up as one of the best. I know the community is nuts about this game still. Super Mario Sunshine. I love this game, actually. I think the criticisms of it are erroneous most of the time. A lot of people say this is too different than Mario 64. I disagree. I think this game is a lot like Mario 64. It just has a gimmick of clearing, using your hose to do certain things. I don't even think it relies on that too heavily. I think it uses it just as much as it should. And it's a great fun game and I think a good successor to Mario 64. It has, you got to get stars in each level and, it's just as good as, not as good as Mario 64, but it's in the same vein. There you go, Nathan. You love Sunshine. That's your favorite. Your favorite game. Oh, there you go. Melee. Yeah, you guys are loving the Melee and the Super Mario Sunshine. Can't go wrong with Sunshine. Melee. I've only played, yeah. My brother is obsessed with Melee.
Melee. Played tournaments.
Yeah, he's...
I'm not that good.
He's semi-pro.
No, not even.
He's not semi-pro. He's semi-sucks. All right, we got Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, both player's choice, unfortunately. But that's okay. Like I said, I just want the game. This was a launch title that we had tons of fun renting. All these little mini games and such a great, intense game with great music. We still play this game on occasion, my brothers and I. Very fun. Here's a deviation from the Monkey Ball series that I think is unique. This is Super Monkey Ball Adventure. This is kind of like a 3D platformer Monkey Ball game. I know, it's very unique. Do need to sit down and give it a real play, because I've only demoed it. Yeah, I can understand the slippery controls critique there. Here we have Tales of Symphonia, another one I got at that yard sale when I first moved down here. This is a beautiful looking game here that I hear great things about, anime-inspired, obviously. It looks like it has anime cutscenes. Turn-based, I'm pretty sure. No. Tales is kind of a mix of turn-based and action. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, if I'm not mistaken, because I've played Tales of Fantasia. So the battles take place on, like a 2D plane, but you have to kind of wait and time your attacks. And this I hear is fantastic. So I definitely want to sit down and play that. Another Turok game that I've yet to play. Turok, dinosaur hunting goodness. And this one, I don't think I've ever played this one. So there you go. We have a couple 3D platformers that I haven't played. I picked these up at Goodwill a few years ago. And my character from Melee or from any of the Super Smash games has always been Pikachu. I like his recovery move. I like his down B, the annoying lightning that everybody hates. Pika! That kind of shit. That's my character. I hope you enjoyed my Pikachu. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 1 and 2. I think there's even a third if I'm not mistaken. But these look like, kind of generic 3D platformers, but I'm sure they'll be fun. Jigglypuff, jiggly-lee-lee-lee. Yeah, I used to try to play as Jigglypuff, but I was never very good. We have, this game. I'll tell you, talk about a game I was so excited to rent back in the day. I finally did, and I was like, what the fuck? I tried my best to get my money's worth and to try to enjoy it, but I had no fucking clue what the hell I was doing. It was so convoluted to try to get into the rides, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into the rides to play all these little mini games that are, advertised on the box, but it takes time to do that, and you got to do a whole bunch of shit before that. It's just not the best choice of games. This should have been a collection of mini games, like 12 or 15 mini games based on Universal movies, but they blew it. But I have to have it in the collection because I'm nostalgic. Yeah, Woody Woodpecker. That was a good James and Mike episode. We have Beautiful Joe, which also actually has Beautiful Joe 2 in it. Not sure what was here before, but it has the complete version of Beautiful Joe and Beautiful Joe 2. Two brutally hard, beautifully cel-shaded, 2D hand-drawn animation, hardcore action platforming fighting games. That's a lot, I know, but that's what they are. By Capcom, absolutely brutal. You will get your ass handed to you on a platter over and over and over. This is Warrior World. It only has one disc. This was just the only replacement GameCube case I had. And Warrior World is the game that I've added to the collection most recently, and I got it really cheap at a flea market. And got really lucky on this. And it's a 3D platformer with Wario! So you can't go wrong with that. You have to play it, though. Wave Race. This was a launch title. Blue Storm was super impressed by this, but not as impressed as we were with the N64 one. That one blew our minds. This one was more the same. Really good water physics and everything. It did showcase the console. This was almost like a tech demo at the time to showcase what the console could do. But hey, it's the last Wave Race game we ever got. It's so sad. We only have 3 Wave Race games. One on the Game Boy, one on the 64, one on the GameCube. Here we have Day of Reckoning. This actually is the first game, case, and manual, and it actually houses the second game, yes. So, the second game, my brother and I tried to play this as old-school wrestling fans pretty recently, but we didn't get too interested in it because the character creation took so long, it wasn't even funny. All right, we've got 17 battery. I have to use the bathroom. I will be right back. All right, folks. All right, thank you for your patience. Duty calls, nature calls. We're going to get right to the Wii. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's checked out this live stream. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I will be doing plenty more like this. I've gotten really used to the swing of live streaming, and I enjoy the core audience that I get and all the new people that come in from this method of video making. So I thank all of you very much for watching. Feel free to give it a thumbs up and a subscribe, and even super chats if you want to donate to the channel to see more stuff like it. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at the Wii here, and we're going to get out of here so I could play some games. Enjoy my night. Here we have one of the latest editions. I found this at the Goodwill a few weeks ago, called Animal Crossing City Folk. And I hear great things about the Animal Crossing series. It's just not really my type of game. But I do want to sit down and give it a fair shot before I, judge it as not for me. But it is a life sim game where you kind of build up your town and you kind of do chores and talk to people and build relationships and that kind of thing. Kind of like The Sims, but Nintendo's version. Yeah, me neither, jolly good. Here we have Batman, the Brave and the Bold, the video game. You might be thinking, what? That's just like shovelware crap based on the TV show. No, sir, it is not. This is a beautifully hand-drawn, 2D hand-drawn action-adventure superhero game here that is couch frickin' co-op 2 players. One is Batman, one is Robin. You could play as some other characters too. And look at the hand-drawn animation here. Just like the show it's based on. Beautiful stuff. It's got the comic book style, the crack and pow. Awesome game. Actually, my brother Ian and I played through that when he was younger. A Boy and His Blob. This is a remake of the original NES game, which I hear is a bit closer to an adventure platformer than the original. Well, I guess the original was too, but it was very difficult, the original game. This one I hear is a little bit more, accessible. Way Forward, they really don't make any bad games, especially when they're working in the 2D realm, which is their specialty, and I don't think they leave or they deviate from very much. But yeah, David Crane game, the original, and I do look forward to playing the reboot here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of WB Cartoon Network stuff. Yeah, like Justice League and any of the WB animated shows, Batman, Superman, Justice League, Unlimited. Here we have a Sega-produced The Conduit, Wii exclusive here. This also got a sequel that I don't have in the collection. Best shooting game on the Wii, interesting. It's got a refractive cover here, so it's hard to kind of see on camera. But I do want to play this because it's an exclusive first-person shooter series for the Wii. D-Blob, I love that title. It does make it hard to know where to put it, because I usually would put it under B, but since it's D, it's kind of a play on V. And anyway, this one you go around and I don't know, it looks like you color the world with all sorts of paint. You're a little paint glob. Launch a color revolution. That's an interesting use of language there. Color revolution is a real term. Look it up. But this is a political term. This is a cool-looking game, 3D platformer that I don't know much about, but I do want to try. It was good enough, apparently, to get a sequel, D-Blob 2. So, I'm sure it's more of the same. This one I just picked up at Salvation Army for $0.25. Yep, for $0.25. This is a fun, I've actually played this before with the family. This is a fun Wii game, 4-player party game, very unique. It's all these mini games that revolve around these blocks, and it's a very unique game and very fun. Kind of like a puzzle game, kind of like a party game, but very fun to play with people. Which do I prefer, asks Jolly Good. Mario World, Mario 3, or I prefer Mario World. That is probably my favorite 2D Mario game if I'm pressed to pick one. Yeah. Donkey Kong Country Returns. This just got a remake or something, a HD remake on the Switch. I'm cool with this version. The only thing I don't like about this version is the motion controls, which I'm sure is retained in the new one. You kind of have to shake the Wiimote to do like a ground pound or like slap the ground. You have to do like a certain motion to do a roll. Not the most intuitive Donkey Kong controls. I wish they left it up to the user, the player, to decide whether they wanted to use those stupid fucking, motion controls. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. Still a fun game. Epic Mickey, a game that I've yet to play, a 3D platformer, which always appealed to me. I'm a big 3D platformer fan. And so one with Mickey, that kind of, takes a dark take on Disney and Mickey, and kind of brings it, that's like the, Oswald the Rabbit. So some early Disney homage there. Here we have Gojira Unleashed. This is just like a lot of the Godzilla games that are worth playing on the more modern consoles, PS2 up. This is a battle royale Godzilla game. So you could play as all the different kinds of monsters and bash it out, monster mash it out with your friends or against the computer. Not very deep games, but a bit deeper than they appear on their surface. So play them for a little bit and you'll see what I mean. The fun to be had in these Godzilla games is unlocking all the extra characters and levels and stuff. Nice. Yeah, you played the DK game that was remade. Yeah, the Mario TV show I still enjoy, for what it is. It's a novelty. But I grew up watching it, so I still enjoy it for nostalgic purposes. Here we have GoldenEye 007. This was a big deal when this came out. Everybody was talking about this is an early HD reboot, we'll say, of GoldenEye. Very different, but still retains the spirit of the original 64 one. Not as good as the 64 one, but a pretty good attempt. Not bad at all. You could do, there's a remake of it. GoldenEye. Thought I had it. 007 GoldenEye. There it is. Which is like a brushed up version of this one, which is a reboot of the 64 one, yeah. Mama Luigi. We've got House of the Dead 2 and 3, which are the original, some of the original arcade games here collected for this collection. The 2 was on the Dreamcast. Super fun with the Wii Zapper. And then House of the Dead Overkill, way over the top, exploitation inspired House of the Dead game here with two-player action, more curses than any game, I believe, in history, blood and gore, blowing zombies' faces off. And it feels like an exploitation movie. That's what it's going for. Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings, I think it's going to be a pretty decent Indiana Jones game. But why do I own this in particular? For a very specific reason. That's because it actually has... It doesn't say on the back, but it actually has a port of The Fate of Atlantis, which was a LucasArts classic hand-drawn, or pixel art, I should say, Indiana Jones point-and-click adventure game, which is supposed to be one of the best Indiana Jones adventures ever outside of the movies. So this has a port of it, and I think it'll be really nice to play with the Wiimote, which is perfect for point-and-click. Let me check in on my battery. 12%. We're, as always, cutting it close. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This is the way I played the game on launch of the Wii. And man, what a great experience this was, going back to a very dark and kind of almost gothic-inspired world of Hyrule. And man, this game was so much fun, but it's been so long since I've played it, and I do want to give it another shot at some point. But I'm kind of waiting for them to do an HD remake of some kind. And sadly, the Legend of Zelda game, I don't think I'll ever be able to really get into. I gave it about 8 hours 6 months ago or so. And what can I say? I can't do the waggle controls. I just can't do it. So maybe I'll play it on the Switch where I can just use a controller like a normal human being. But, Oh, interesting. There was a Rugrats movie parody of the Indiana. Weird, but yeah, you're talking about the game. It was like a Mario Party. I remember that game for the 64. Here we have Mad World. This is a really unique Platinum game with black and white, kind of cel-shaded graphics. Black, white, and red, I should say, because the gore is not black and white. It is red as red can be. Over the top, almost Running Man style competition in this dystopian, totalitarian future. Really cool game. Never beat it, but I played a good amount of it. Mario Strikers Charged, obviously a sequel to Mario Strikers on the GameCube. This one's good. I don't remember it being as good as the GameCube, but could be wrong. Yeah, that's right, on the 64. Back, somebody was calling me. Is my sound back? Please let me know. Anyway, the Metal Slug games are fantastic, Contra-inspired, beautifully hand-drawn pixels, and super over-the-top action. You could play with a friend, and actually up to 4 friends. There you go. An incredible collection. Still affordable. Metroid Prime Other M by Retro Studios, a game that I've yet to play. Oh, no. Retro Studios didn't do this one. Team Ninja did, the guys who did Ninja Gaiden. And this is, a lot of people shit on this because Samus talks in this, and she's really whiny and, kind of fawns over this guy. And it just wasn't really Samus Aran. She's more of a badass taciturn badass who just, laconic. She just kind of keeps to herself. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, a game that I played a bit, but again, the waggle controls do deter me, I gotta be quite honest, but I do want to sit down and play it because they were rather intuitive and very impressive waggle controls, despite me not continuing. Here we have, I want to say, yeah, Vanillaware. That's right, the guys who did Odin Sphere. This is Muramasa, the Demon Blade. This is a beautifully watercolor, hand-drawn game inspired by Japanese mythology. Look at the graphics. It is gorgeous. Vanillaware knows how to make a 2D game, and looks like they knocked this one out of the park. Pretty sure it's exclusive. Out of the park. Here's a really cool 3D platformer that I've played quite a bit with music by Les Claypool of the band Primus, which Les Claypool, if you don't know Primus, he did the theme song for South Park. So going on down South Park, on see if I can unwind. He's the lead singer and bassist in a band called Primus. They make really unique, strange, odd music with weird time signatures and just very, very in-your-face kind of music, but some of the best bass playing you'll ever hear. He plays that thing like a guitar, Les Claypool. Mushroom Ren and the Spore Wars. I want to get the DS version. I hear it's slightly different and just as good. But this is a great 3D platformer with fungus. So if you're a fan of like mushrooms and stuff, you'll like it even more. I don't really have a favorite food icon character. I remember Cookie Crisp. I remember that. This one I found on camera at a Salvation Army years ago when I moved down here. And was really happy to find this for $1. This is a sequel to the Sega Saturn game, which I played quite a bit when the Saturn came out. It was quite the novelty and sort of a tech demo for the console, but still, really good game by Team Sonic. And this Sonic team does this one too, and it looks like a nice successor. I just haven't played the original enough to jump into its sequel. This is a Suda51 game, which I admittedly... Oh, no. Grasshopper. Or is Suda51 the same thing? I'm not sure. But these games are crazy, over-the-top games that I hear great things about, and this is where it started here on the Wii. Yeah, the Knights ads, they were all over the place at the time. They were really trying to push that game. Punch-Out! I'm actually replaying Super Nintendo Punch-Out. Boy, is that game hard. I remember really enjoying the Wii one, too. Not as hard as the NES and Super Nintendo, but just as fun. Great iconic characters come back, like Glass Joe, from the King Hippo from the original game, and obviously Little Mac. And yeah, great Punch-Out game. I wish this was the last Punch-Out game that we got, so I'm hoping we get another one. Red Steel and Red Steel 2. I will say playing this at launch was really exciting. You could use the Wiimote to chop dudes up. But this one got it even better with the Wii Motion Plus, where it was like 1-to-1 with the sword, so you could really like mess around and feel like more like a samurai. You also had guns, so you kind of shot and chopped dudes up. This one I got at Goodwill recently. Yeah, King Hippo was in that Captain Nintendo or Captain N show, right? Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. I need the Umbrella Chronicles 2. These are Wii Zapper games, so light gun games for the Wii. And I hear really good things about it. Actually, I have played this one. I haven't played the second one. This one starts on a train, if I'm not mistaken, and remember really enjoying it. If you're into the light gun shooters. Here we have Rhythm Heaven Fever, which is a game that is insane, for one. But it's like WarioWare. It has a whole bunch of little micro games and that are based on rhythm, and very difficult, especially if you don't have rhythm. Even if you do have rhythm, like me, these games get brutal. And definitely play with more than one person because it's so much fun. We have Silent Hill Shattered Memories. I thought this was a port of the PS2 game, but it's not. This is actually the way that it was originally meant to be played. This game, it was developed for the Wii. Is everything okay out there? No. Okay. There's like crashing and things happening in the background. Sorry, folks. Shattered Memories was developed for the Wii, and that's why I own it on the Wii. It's way harder to find on the PS2, but I think it's on the PS2. It's way more expensive, but this one is reasonably, well, not really reasonably priced anymore. But this is a remake of the first game with the Wii remote controls, the kind of waggle controls, but it was optimized for the console. So I think that's pretty interesting. Here we have Sin and Punishment: Star's Successor, a sequel to a game we never got in the West. which was on the N64, which is an on-rail shooter, futuristic, almost cyberpunk on-rail shooter that is crazy over-the-top action. This one looks like the same kind of thing, but better graphics on the Wii, and it's 2 players, so really, really cool. Here I found this one at the Goodwill pretty recently, Sonic and the Secret Rings, or I think my brother did, actually, and I bought it off of him. But I don't know much about this. I think it's exclusive to the Wii. Am I wrong about that? Here we have Super Paper Mario. I haven't played this one yet. It looks like it combines Paper Mario with 2D Mario in a pretty mind-bending way there. Yet to play it, though. Galaxy 1 and 2, obviously 2 of the best 3D Mario games ever made. 1 is fantastic. I've beaten it. 2, man, this game gets brutal towards the middle. And kind of lost interest when it was kicking my ass. But beautifully vibrant games, really emblematic of what Nintendo is and could be. And I'm not sure if they are anymore, frankly. And here we have a couple Trauma Team games. This one was a launch title that I got at launch, actually. It's so good, but the controls are janky. The Sonic game, interesting. This game, my brother could tell you, I sat, when I first moved down here with my mother, when we first moved down to North Carolina, I sat for an afternoon and played this with the Wiimote Plus, or the whatever it is, the regular Wiimote, and my God, is this one of the hardest games I have ever played. You have to be precise with your waggling and, fixing bones and stitching people up and sutures, and it is insane. It's like an arcadey doctor simulation, and it is it's insane, and it gets so freaking brutal by the end, but I did conquer it. One of my great video game achievements. I didn't do it on hardest difficulty and all that shit, but I beat it on its regular difficulty. And this one I picked up. It's actually still brand new. I picked this up because I can't wait to play this with my brother, who watched me play the original and kind of go crazy together. Because this one is 2 players couch co-op simultaneous, and you play as a bunch of different doctors with different skills and all that kind of stuff. So I'll have to crack the seal on that at some point. Here we have, last but not least, on the Wii, a game that I do need to play more. But this is like an action platformer, kind of like with adventure elements, point-and-click elements, kind of like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the original Conker's Bad Fur Day, in that there's these set pieces and these puzzles you have to figure out, but there's also platforming. Something tells me Capcom was influenced by Bad Fur Day on that one. But I've only played a little bit of it, but I hear it's great. I hear it only gets better. And from what I've played, it's awesome. This is on the Switch, but I'd rather play it on the Wii U, how it was meant to be played, with the pad. And this is more of a puzzle game, and I do like my Mario puzzle games from time to time. Let's see. Here we have Epic Mickey 2, The Power of 2. I love how it has the word 2 twice in it. That's interesting. This is a sequel to Epic Mickey on the Wii, and it's on the Wii U. I know this is on the PS3 too. I might want to upgrade to that, but again, I like the Wii U versions because they optimize the gamepad, and I think the gamepad was a cool gimmick. Mario Party 10 picked this up rather recently at the Cause for Pause, for $1, so why not? NES Remix Pack here. These are awesome. These kind of remix old NES games and give you these micro challenges type of thing, where you got to collect a bunch of coins and do it quick and fast, and you get medals. They kind of combine the old school games with the modern kind of iPhone game sensibilities. But yeah, Wii U's awesome. I'm glad to still have my launch Wii U. Nintendo Land, one of the best party games you could play with a group of people. This has what is it called? Asymmetrical multiplayer. It has all sorts of multiplayer games.
I have a tiny screwdriver, do you?
Tiny screwdriver?
For glasses.
I'm going to be wrapping this up in a minute. Just give me a sec. I'm not sure. Nintendo Land is an awesome game to play with friends. It's got like 12 different mini games based on our favorite games, and it's a blast to play. We have Star Fox Zero, which is a game that came and went to nobody's surprise. Just kind of flew under the radar, and I don't hear many good things about it, but it's exclusive, obviously. It's a Star Fox game. And another one I found at the Cause for Pause for $1, Super Mario Maker, a game I got on launch when it came out and was so blown away by it. I thought it was such a cool idea, and I've yet to play the second one. But I'm hoping this one I could still play and use some of the online capabilities. I'm sure there will be a time where you can't. You kind of create your own levels in this and play other people's levels. Here we have new Super Mario Bros. U along with the new Super Luigi U. So it's really 2 games in one. This was a whole new game, the Super Mario Luigi U here. And 2D side-scrolling Mario games, of course. You've seen commercials for Star Fox game. Kind of reminds you of Sesame Street and the Muppets. Interesting. I could kind of see that. Much cooler than those 2 things, though. Here we have Wii U, Tank Tank Tank. This is an exclusive game to the Wii U. Super fun, arcadey. I think this was in the arcades. Arcadey Earth Defense Force-like game that you could play with up to 4 players and just blow the shit out of everything. Has that Ghidorah-like monster there. Super fun. I really enjoy this launch title for the Wii U. I still think it's one of the best games on the Wii U exclusives. This one I got for $1 too, and this was the best find ever. I think I caught this on a Thriftin, actually, because this game goes for quite a bit. This is one of the harder to find Wii U games, and it looks right up my alley. It's got a bunch of different mini games, and yeah, awesome. Wonderful 101 also got a Switch release, but I want to see how it utilizes the gamepad. This is a Platinum game going in an isometric style, very unique. Kind of looks like it borrows some elements of Pikmin and some of the superhero craze that was going on at the time. But I do want to play this. It looks totally unique. I still think this is the ideal way to play Zombie U. Again, because of the gamepad, that really makes you feel immersed in this world. It's a very cool zombie game with roguelike elements where if you die, you have to find your way back to your corpse and get your weapons back and continue on that way. Very difficult. You got to get good with the combat or you will get eaten. Your ass will be eaten. And you got to work your way up to get better weapons and get further into the city. And you know, it's a really, really cool zombie game. Very immersive. All right, guys. Well, perfect timing because my battery is about to be dead. So I want to thank you all for checking out this live stream. That's going to do it. All 5 parts of my video game collection overview. You guys can watch all of the archived versions of the live streams, and you could see the entire collection overview where I talk about basically every single game in my collection, which is crazy. So a lot of hours to spend, have me on in the background or whatever, talking about games, doing my live commentary. So thank you all so much for tuning into this series of video game collection overview. I love you all. I appreciate you all. To my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. To anybody who's new who hasn't subscribed, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the little bell for notifications so it can notify you when I go live, which I'm trying to come up with a more stringent schedule on and will. But right now I'm doing it Monday through Wednesday, pretty much every day after I get back from from something that I do during the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Feel free to give it a thumbs up. I will see you all next time. Bored Cyborg. Well, let me check my okay, everybody's saying bye. Bye everybody. Peace out. Bored Cyborg is out.